Laughing Brook. Poetry for sensual consciousness. Between a rock and a hard place, there the stream of life flows, all none the less. It takes a strong eye to create. It takes a strong eye to create. It takes a strong eye to create. Clear light, clear eye, bright to create. Shine to hold the shine. Be light to hold the light. A strong helping of fuck you to stay the way, to keep it sharp, to keep it pointed. A healthy distance to the well-intended. A mistrust to the praise. An even stronger trust to let it in. A humble knowing what is mine, to have, to give, to love, to live. It takes a strong eye to create. So finally, I can let it all go again. Trust your creativity. One of the people who inspires me for this podcast is Prince. Prince, you might think? This Prince? Yeah, I mean the artist formerly known as Prince and then trading as Garble Garble Tafcap and then Prince again. And this is not because I like his music, which I most certainly do. It has been with me pretty much from my teenage years on all through my life to where I am now, some 4 decades later. My name is Laughing Brook, and I love to sit by rivers and brooks. When I sit there, all the flowing, the splashing, the water jumping feels or is as I watch and observe. In all its multitude, the flow follows a certain pattern that is being created by the water and the riverbed. So what looks very chaotic and arbitrary at first, eventually it reveals itself as following certain patterns. Yet in those relatively stable patterns, every once in a while, you cannot predict it, it's pretty much impossible, statistically completely unlikely. But as it so happens, at some mysteriously random moment, a drop of water rises high into the air. This one unique spark, this once in an improbability, this very unique thing happens against all statistics, patterns, and probabilities. And this is what Prince is for me. He was an incredible artist. You know, the word incredible literally means something that cannot be believed. And the credible in incredible has the same root as our words credo. Prince incorporated sense and sensuality in the things he did, in the way he furnished his home, in the way he dressed, in the way he made his music, in what he intended to do. And from all I know, which is hearsay, he was a great lover. And I mean, how could you possibly play the guitar in the way he did and not be a great lover? So he was a great lover, even though he could not make it last. Just like. So he was a great lover, even though he could not make it last. Just like that drop that falls back into the stream. All of that is great. And I wanted to sing his praises here as a thank you for being part of the soundtrack of my life. But it's not why he inspired me and why I'm mentioning him. One song per day, who could come up with a song idea in the evening and send a chart hit to his record company in the morning, and, not the least of his feats, managed to marry sex and spirituality in the context of a prudish society like no one before, and, as far as I know, after him. Does that sound completely incredible? Yeah. And yet, there he was. What inspires me about him is his boldness in trusting his gift and just doing it. You can't be a perfectionist and record one song per day. And he had quite a perfectionist trait about him, which felt toxic at times. And yet, there's something about being that spark, that one incredible drop, where you dare to go out and just do it. You dare to fail. In this way, he inspired me in making this podcast and bringing my song into the world, and trusting my creativity and trusting intuition and inspiration, and creating and shaping beauty in making sense and letting go of doubt, hesitation, procrastination, and the desire to control what will happen once I bring this into the world. And this is what Laughing Brook is all about. Thank you, Prince. Today's poem was written some years ago on my way home from an ayahuasca journey in Brazil, out in the gorgeous nature of the Serra do Chipo National Park. I had one of my favorite Prince albums in my earphones, Art Official Age, and was so taken by pondering about what it must be like to create such music and such a life. But then I also started to think about my own creativity and of people I knew. And there's a gutsy something needed to make your art happen and bring your gift into the world. Do not be afraid of rejection and criticism, whether real or imagined. Do not sell out and be nice, but really try to keep yourself naked and vulnerable as an artist, to allow yourself to fail in order to go for it with all you've got, to sacrifice a lot of nice and comfy things in order to make this dream and passion inside a reality. As I walked a dancey walk, the lines began dripping into my awareness. I knew well enough that it's good to pay attention to inspiration, and so I wrote those lines down. If you would like to dive further into this topic of nourishing the artist in you, there's a great podcast called Make Art Not Content, which you find wherever you listen to podcasts. I highly recommend it. It's offering daring and to-the-point inspiration and advice on how to get off your butt and into your creativity. So this episode is lovingly dedicated, in great awe, respect and inspiration, to Prince. There'll never be another like me. And to the artist in you. What is your dream to bring into this world? It takes a strong eye to create. It takes a strong eye to create. The eye through which I see. Clear light. Clear eye, bright to create, shine to hold the shine, cast it into form, be light to hold the light which is so ever passing. A strong helping of fuck you to stay the way, to keep it sharp, to keep it pointed, to get to the point. Point it out to create a healthy distance to the well-intended, a mistrust to the praise I get that ever so charmingly lures me astray. A comfy chair of resting on my laurels, becoming all stale and so complacent. An even stronger trust to let it in. Go beyond my fears, shut up my screeching demons. Fully step into my size. A humble knowing what is mine to have, to give, to love, to live. takes a strong eye to create. So finally, I can let it all go again. Just let it flow again. Just let it go again. Like it always does. Like it ever does. Like it always does. Thank you for listening. As I've already mentioned, there's another podcast I would like to recommend. I'm not affiliated, I'm simply a fan. It's called Make Art, Not Content. And I'll put the link into the show notes of this episode. You'll find them on my website, laughingbrook.net. This podcast also inspired me with its kick-ass attitude about not bullshitting yourself, about being an artist. Hey, and if I inspired you, leave me a comment on my website or wherever you are listening to this. Our next episode traverses a darker aspect of life, but a very current one: how to navigate through crisis. This year has been tough so far for many of us, so as it draws to an end, maybe this episode can give you a fresh perspective. It's called New Moon. It's always a good idea to subscribe to this podcast. You'll get all the episodes delivered as soon as they come out. And I'm grateful, as mentioned, for comments, positive ratings, and for recommending me to your friends. Thank you. My name is Laughing Brook. I'm a poet, dancer, mystic, nature coach, and man whisperer. Thank you for listening, and keep on flowing, bumping and jumping with the stream of life.